Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your midday market report for Friday, June 24th, 2022. Yes, the weekend is here. A lot to go over. First and foremost, use some thoughts and prayers and some positivity in these lanes for our good friend, co-host that's been with us for a long, long time, Mr. Scott Webb. Going through some stuff with the family. So positive thoughts, please. Light some candles and prayers. Myself, I think around 10:30 last night, I was wrapping up the night and all of a sudden, boom, crush, boom. I don't know if it's allergies, what is going on, but I am pretty wiped out right now. So with the potential going dark tonight and maybe over the weekend, I'll talk to Riley maybe for some morning shows. Wanted to get this show out today to get anyone willing and wants to listen. Maybe we can get you set up for Fade the Public Friday. It's a full slate of MLB, AVES and Lightning Game 5 tonight. Currently minus 171 AVES there. Chance to win in 5, which would be huge for us. We have the exactor AVES in 5. Plus we hedged, so we got plus 330 either which way, so we're happy there. Baseball this week, when you play full game money lines and getting good plus money odds and your team scores 10 runs in back-to-back games and you lose both of them, you start to sit and wonder. Now, I know it's baseball. I know there's no crying in baseball, and shit happens. But at some point, they're supposed to kind of sort of even out. Earlier in the week, we had the Braves who lost 12-10. And then the next day, we had the Twins who were up 5-1 and 10-7 and give up 4 in the ninth to lose 11-10. So back-to-back days, I went to the kids. We had Arkansas 2 days ago, and we had Ole Miss yesterday. So we cashed there. I stayed away from the MLB yesterday, okay? And just what I wrote on the desk would have been 3 kicks in the you-know-what. Braves, money line. I'm sorry, run line, full game. Jock Peterson, 2 outs, 2 strikes, home run, 7-6. That would have been a loss. And they were up 5-1, 6-1 there. That would have been a loss. Padres first 5, top of the 5th. Phillies 1 out, infield hit, pass ball, single, 1-1. Thanks for playing. And then the one that just stood out like a sore thumb, Astros plus 130 last night. 3-0, 3-3, 6-3, bottom 9. And the Yankees score 4. So games I had highlighted, games we stayed away, all were the right side wrong results. And so I'll take our half unit on Ole Miss yesterday and get ready for that. So anyways, I'm going to lean on Riley today. As you can tell, I don't have much of a voice, guys. It feels like an elephant is sitting on my chest right now, but that's why we got Riley. So let's bring him in from the Windy City himself, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. Afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good to see you back. It's been a few days. I had a nice little hiatus with the family earlier this week, so I'm happy to be back. Happy to dive in. I've been, keeping tabs on everything, of course, but I didn't do my pre-golf prep, but now I'm diving back into what we've got going on for the Travelers Championship. So I'm ready to roll. We've got, we got baseball going. We had the NBA draft last night. A little funny business as far as the odds movements were concerned, and the reports from the old Woj master beforehand. So, the Kings taking Keegan Murray obviously surprised a lot of people. So I'm ready to rock and roll wherever you want to, my friend. It's good to see you back here again.
It's funny. We had Julian Edlow from DraftKings on, and that was the night before, and then the day where all the movement started with Paulo. And it was plus 2,000 to 900 to 600 to 250. And then Woj back to back nights comes on, and he started moving the market. Everyone's listening. Um, and then I reached out to Julian. What are you seeing? He goes, well, if you go to any state with that's taking action on the draft, it's off the board. So
Mm-hmm.
for my eyes, that meant Jabari Smith, Holmgren, and Ranchero. And listen, I don't claim to be Woj, Shams, anything like this, but I do have an eye for talent. And I will stake right now on Friday, June 24th at 117. I'll take the first year, the first 3 years, the first 5 years, the next decade. I'll take Jabari Smith to the cash cow. Whatever you want to say. You
Yeah.
see how fired up I am.
Yeah.
He was the guy at number one.
I am 100% agreeing with you. I will let you run that train because I agree with you 100%. I am more kind of up in arms, and I know there were some rumors that he didn't really want to talk to him, but I'm more up in arms and thinking that the Sacramento Kings, much like they've been for the last 20 years, in a few years, that's going to be another one on top of what you're saying, where we're going to be laughing at the Sacramento Kings for taking Keegan Murray over Jaden Ivey. I think Jaden Ivey, with the upside that he has and where they're at with their franchise, obviously they already have some guards, but when you're a bad basketball team in a tiny market, you're trying to just get the best available and highest ceiling players. And I think, all due respect, Keegan Murray, obviously I'm a Big Ten guy, so hopefully, he has a nice career as well. But I think they whiffed that they missed on Jaden Ivey, and I think in a few years, much like we've done for the last 20 years, and I was laughing at him last year for the Tyrese Halliburton trade. I think we're going to be laughing at what they did in that draft and over the last couple of years. And I think the Pistons are off to a nice, rebuild these last couple of years of what they've been able to build here with Cade Cunningham and now Jaden Ivey. So, as a Bulls fan, obviously the divisions don't matter as much in the NBA compared to the other sports. But as a Bulls fan, with this team being in our division, seeing them 4 times, I'm starting to be a little nervous that they're actually building something worthwhile for the first time in over a decade there in Detroit. So, kudos to them and what they did, and honestly, Indiana as well. I'm a big fan of Ben Mathurin too. So hopefully, I'm wrong about Keegan Murray in general. Hopefully, he has a nice career as the Big Ten guy that I am. But I think 5 and 6, Ivy and Mathurin were better picks than he, in my opinion.
And it's funny, I was looking at those odds, and then, of course, you had under on the Ivy at 4.5. That was juice to the gills. I was looking at Murray plus 150 to go for or under. And I started to wonder myself, is there some shenanigans going on here? Now, I was disappointed Detroit didn't get the number one pick. I wanted to see Cunningham with Smith. I thought that would have been amazing. But for them to get Cunningham with Ivy, hey,
I,
I think they
I,
got the second best player in the draft.
I think so. I mean, with the size and athleticism and just the ceiling that you have with a guy of that athleticism as Ivy, and both these guys being good sized guards, it does. I mean, positions in basketball aren't as airtight, and that's kind of why another reason why I'm laughing at the Kings being a bad basketball team, where it seems like they took a player that kind of fit their current roster, which when you're a bad team, it just flat out doesn't matter. You got to try and take guys that have high ceilings. And so I've been laughing at the Kings for years and years on end, and I think we're going to be seeing that for another few years here for the future with the Sacramento Kings.
Before we get off the NBA train here, are you buying the Kyrie BS? I mean, could you see him? Okay, I think his guarantee is 34 or 37 million dollars, but he can walk away and take $6 million and like go play for the Lakers and then try to figure this thing out. it seems like when you listen to Woj, Shams, and everyone else, they basically said, here, find a home, let's get it done. But their problem now is if that's the case, KD's looking around almost like in that John Travolta gif, like no one's home here. He's not going to stick and stay for Ben Simmons.
No, no. And as a team that has is starting to accrue a few assets and has just made their case as a playoff team, the Chicago buzz, as far as if that were to blow up and hit the fan, we're licking our chops over here on Mr. Kevin Durant. So I hope shit hits the fan over there. But as far as do I buy Kyrie bullshit, I think the answer always has to be some degree of yes. There's always some type of something going on as far as Kyrie is concerned and where he's at and his happiness, where he wants to be. Would not shock me if he wants to go somewhere else and see that the grass is greener somewhere else. Whether or not it is, I don't know. But yeah, it would not shock me at all if things got shooken up over there in Brooklyn and we see both of those guys find a new home. Maybe not immediately, but eventually it wouldn't shock me at all.
And it would work perfectly for Kyrie because his shelf life's only a couple years. You look at Cleveland, you look at Boston, now you look at Brooklyn. I mean, we don't know how many, years LeBron has left. Now, does he push the card in 2 years or whatever it is, to go find a home and play with Bronny or whatever the deal is? I said for the Lakers, for them, honestly, to look for their future to be brighter, needed to move AD, get as much assets and capital as that you could. You got a couple of years left with LeBron. Trade Westbrook to someone that's looking for an expiring contract and rebuild that way. The Kyrie thing just gives all the. I reached out to my guy in LA and I was like, "What the hell is this BS?" And he goes, "It's the LeBronians. It's not the Laker Nation." Again, quick fix. Let me see. When they got AD, they were going to win 5 championships. Well, they did win 1. When they got Westbrook, of course, they were going to win championships last year, and they didn't even make the playoffs. 16 games under 500. Now, all of a sudden, they add Kyrie, and it's, duck boats and parades again.
Yeah, my issue, I could see basically what I was saying. I could see things getting shaken up as far as, whatever happens, it's not going to be that easy. Moving around Westbrook's contract isn't that easy by any means what he's making. I see someone who I respect as far as the hypotheticals that we're kind of talking about in the summers here when the stove obviously heats up and no basketball is happening. Bill Simmons always tries to do the playing games with, the trade machine and whatnot. John Wall just accepted $47 million player option. The Rockets would definitely want to move him. So, is it going to be shaken up to some degree? Probably, but it's never as easy as we in the public make it sound. So, like I said, I think last week I'm a junkie for offseason movement. So, as long as the Bulls are still in trending in the right direction type light, then I'm going to be happy over here. So, it was an interesting night. I think a lot of people were expecting a few more fireworks as far as what we're talking here, but obviously it's not that simple. So, we'll see. In a month or so. Early July is typically when when the fireworks start happening. So maybe in a couple of weeks we'll have some good movement going on here.
Well, I was glad. Second round, Golden State moves up, and they traded, I think, with Atlanta. They drafted Tyrese Martin from UConn, and then I saw this morning my daughter sent me something that R.J. Cole signed a deal with the Lakers, and so to be out in Vegas, and you can go watch the kids, see how they do. Maybe they make the roster. Maybe they go to the G League or whatever. Right. So I was happy on that part of it. So, all right. It's Friday. It's Fade the Public Friday. It's a full slate of bases. Listen, guys, I just have to say this again. And I saw, I think it was our buddy Dave Sharapan posted yesterday. Not since 1940. 1940 has a team started like the Yankees. Now, the Yankees right now are 52-18. They're 34 games over 500. And we respect the Houston team. The Houston team, listen to this one now, is 43-26. They're 17 games over 500. Yet they're 9 games behind the Yankees. This Yankee team just finds ways. It doesn't. They were dead. They give up 3 in the first. They come back, get 3. Then the Astros put up another 3 spot. It's 6-3, bottom 9. This team just, And I know the naysayers. Hey, guys, go win 120 games, and you're going to get knocked out in the playoffs, and it's going to be even that much bittersweet. I remember the Seattle team that went off and won like
Yeah.
112, 113 games, and then they get knocked out. But before we dig into today's games, can you tell me what the hell's going on there?
What I was going to add is I heard on the White Sox broadcast, they were talking about it last night. I don't know what the number is, but they have a winning record in games in which they're trailing in. They have a winning record when they are behind in games, and like I said, I don't know. They didn't say the exact record of what that is, but that is absurd to me. From your perspective, have you heard of is that something that is, regardless of how good the team is that something we should expect regression on, or is that something we can keep riding and maybe hammer in whenever we see them down 2-0 or 5-3 plus money line as far as the game concerned? Is there anything to see there?
Well, it used to be where what's the team's record, obviously, when they're trailing, number one, but what's their record after 7 innings? And you used to see, like the Red Sox, 0-69 when trailing after 7 innings. Now, with today's technology and the in-game, it's crazy. Someone posted on Twitter last night, I think you could have got the Yankees plus 2,000 or plus 2,500 going into the bottom of the ninth line.
That's ridiculous. And so, at certain points, you almost just have to pop it open and see what it is and just throw a few bucks at it. And over the course of 10 games, you're probably eating pretty good. So, yeah, I don't know what to expect as far as those comebacks are concerned. But the place is, I mean, no ballpark is on fire as far as the atmosphere like they are right now. The atmosphere last night in the Bronx was, when they had the comeback in the ninth, was just absurd that I haven't seen so far yet this year. So we'll see if it continues tonight. And obviously good series here against Houston this weekend.
All right, the board's yours. What are you saying?
Let's go over to my neck of the woods, get that out of the way. Orioles White Sox. Orioles get the win last night. I like a bounce back for the Sox here tonight. But and we've talked about it before as far as Kopech on the mound and what the White Sox have as far as their bullpen with all the injuries that they have. If you like the White Sox, I would suggest to just stick with the first 5. Put up a goose egg last night. A lot of bad breaks, bad momentum changes, and some really good defense from the Orioles. So I think the Sox put up some runs again tonight, get back on the board. I think it should be a bullpen day for the Orioles, if I'm not mistaken. I know last night they had somebody else projected to start, and they switched that up, and it looks like it could be a bullpen day. So if you're liking the White Sox, I would say just stick with the first 5, but as it's a lot of money coming in on the White Sox, so that full game is definitely scaring me with their back end. Are you on with me with the first 5, or are you thinking that's a little concern for you as well on that one?
What's going on this week? It's funny. I'm smiling because I had the Orioles in game 1 of their last series, and it was Fetty versus whoever for Baltimore. Yeah. And Baltimore gets shut out by Fetty. And I'm like, are you serious? And then, of course, they go on to win the next 2 games. And they win last night. And again, that damn, you're one day too early. And then, the shit hits the fan. Yeah. I had initially on Sports Insights, I had Bradish. Now on Dawn Best, I do have Voth, which would mean it is a bullpen game. I like where your eyes are right now with the first 5 minus the hook. I hate to say this to you. White Sox 33-35. Orioles 32-39.
One game apart in the win column. That I knew it wasn't that far off, but before you told me that out loud, I did not realize it was that close. But their defense. I mean, they were, as far as fundamentally last night is concerned, they were the superior baseball team in the stadium in Chicago last night. So, the back end, I think Kendall Graveman is if it gets to a save situation, that has to be who it is. But aside from that, it's a toss up and it's anybody's game. So I would not be touching the full game for the White Sox tonight.
I agree there.
Another one I'm interested for in your thoughts. Good pitching matchup in Miami. Taijuan Walker and Alcantara. As far as the odds are concerned, all the respect going to Alcantara, rightfully so. He's been fantastic. Full game I'm seeing about minus 140. First 5 I'm seeing about minus 160. The thing that would probably keep me away is that both these pitchers are facing the same lineup for the second consecutive start, and both were very good last time out. I kind of expect at least one of these guys to regress. If I'm leaning anywhere, I'm leaning Alcantara. But this one, I typically don't like when pitchers see the same lineup two straight times in a row. So that alone is going to keep me out of this one. Anything from you out of here?
No, and those are great eyes too, because usually, if like for instance, the first matchup was a tight 1-0, 2-1, or something, you're going to get regression on both sides. They just saw them the last time, and you start to wonder. And listen, you get the wise guys that are saying, "Jesus, you're going to keep giving me the Yankees at plus money. I'm going to take the Yankees." Blah, blah, blah. But the thought process is sooner or later, they were not projected to win 130 games. I mean, let's be serious here. So going to here, people are going to say, hey, give me the Mets and the plus money. And and I know the edge in pitching is Alcantara. The problem with Miami is the offense. So if you're laying minus the hook, you need at least one there. So for me, if I would go anywhere, I would dig into the first 5 and pray you can scratch one out early. That's what I would do.
And before we move on, I'll add, we're neither of us are really totals guys, but I'm seeing as far as it's either 7 or 7.5. If it's under 7, I'm seeing plus money for under 7, and then obviously at 7.5, they're kind of taking it out of your hands a little bit, and it's under 7.5 is like minus 125, so you're just not really getting a good price on that. So I think one of these guys is going to see some regression. I'm just, like I said, lean towards Alcantara, as you said, for the first 5. So I think I'll stay out of this one, but that one should be good. We kind of talked about them already. Houston and the Yankees next one up. Verlander and Severino should be a damn good matchup. Are you sitting back with the popcorn on this one after last night's fireworks, or do you like anything specific here with Verlander?
Verlander has been money. First 5, he got his boobs lit up last game, 7-0, I think, to you guys, and you're supposed to get a good bounce back here from the Astros. I think last night leaves a mark, though. I wouldn't go full game. I wouldn't step in front of the train. I would take Houston first 5 and pray, and then just grab the popcorn for the rest of the game.
Yep. It's shorter odds for the Yankees in the first 5, about minus. This is just consensus, minus 135 full game money line. It looks like it's under minus 130 on the first 5. So I think I'm with you on that one as far as Verlander's concerned. But yeah, you mention it all the time as far as not getting in front of that train as far as the full game is concerned. So I'm with you right there. Interesting one. Don't have strong thoughts, but Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay. Pittsburgh, I think 4-1 last 5. Took care of the Cubs pretty well. That's 3-1 out of a 4-game series against them, and I think they took the last 1 out of 3 against the Giants before that. Are you buying the Pirates as far as a surge, or is that just catching the Cubs at the right time as far as the old Northsiders in a free for all there?
I did listen. They brought the shortstop up, the 6'7" kid.
Gosh.
And wow, what a cannon. I tell you what, the first baseman now needs a little sponge or something, because that kid can throw some heat. Yeah. I'm waiting for the blowout, and they put the kid in for the 9th and let him pitch, for 1 inning. Yeah. I think Vegas has given us a real good heads up here. I mean, listen, Springs bullpen game, Keller has not been that good, minus 205. I don't have a problem going first 5. I honestly think at this point, I wouldn't have a problem, even though the total's at a flat 7 or a 7.5 at Westgate, to take a full game run line here on Tampa. I think they get it done. I'm looking at that 4-2, maybe 4-1, something like that. But that's where my eyes would be today.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I'll stay out of that one. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned O'Neal Cruz. My buddy sent me like 30 minutes ago. Basically a breakdown. He runs this. He's 6'7", runs like Tyreek Hill, throws like Max Scherzer. I mean, the dude is just an absolute specimen. So kudos to the Pirates. Hopefully they can hold on to him for a long time and build around him. But your neck of the woods is right where actually it's not in Boston tonight. It's in Cleveland. But Pivetta and Quantrill. Pivetta, I do believe, has been the last 2 at least been pretty damn solid. Quantrill had some nice positive regression, a little bit back and forth. Red Sox the favorite on the road here. Are you buying this with Pivetta? Full game in first 5, right around pretty similar odds, about minus 120, 125. You buying the pricing, or are you a little concerned for the Red Sox tonight?
Everyone's talking. Who wants to talk? The Red Sox are 39-31, and after they're such a bad start, they have won. I think they're like 13-1 their last 14 series. No one's talking about the Guardians, who are 36-29, 7 games over 500. Now, if I look here, Minnesota got off to the hot start. They're just 3 games behind Minnesota. Scott pulled something up, and Fantrax has the Guardians now winning the division, which is a shocker. I think the number's too low on the Red Sox side. I think they're baiting you for a Red Sox play here. I'm waiting for some Pavetta regression. He was lights out his last start. An under over a 9. I guess there'll be some runs scored tonight. You know what? I'm not a numbers guy, but I would take a swing on over 9. How's that?
I'm glad you mentioned it because if this was 7.5, 8, then I think you could probably feel pretty safe that Pavetta is going to keep it rolling and have a really nice start. But that 9 right there definitely leads me on to, if it's not him getting torn up, then, maybe both these guys are 3-3, 4-4 when it goes to the bullpen. So I'm with you on that one. I would go over on this one for sure. I think I see a little, I was not 100% by any means. It was like 40% chance. Dodgers and Atlanta should be a decent matchup, but I saw some rain, so that one's going to keep me out of that one, or at least a chance of rain, I should say. But Urias and Ian Anderson, Dodgers only minus 135. Is that what are you reading on that price? I mean, obviously the Braves still rolling along, only a couple games in the win column behind the Dodgers. Is that too good to be true for if you're riding this Braves streak, or is that who's licking their chops on this one? Braves bettors or Dodgers bettors, even more so than the other?
Well, I'm trying to do the math here. Everyone talks Dodgers. They're the team to beat in the National League. 43-35, 18 games over. Okay, so that's 68. And Atlanta's played 71. They're 41-30. So it's such a bad start, Atlanta, and yet they're 11 games over, and everyone was pooping on them. I'm not an Anderson fan. I like Urias, but I think that number is enticing Brave money, but I could see people saying the same thing about the Dodgers.
Yeah.
An under over a 9. You'd expect fireworks with these two pitchers. Urias has been sporadic. I'm going to just go popcorn game. How's that?
I think I'm with you on this one because at first glance, my initial thoughts was, oh, that's too good to be true for the Dodgers, and then hang on now, the Braves are as hot as scorching hot as they are. They're the home team here, so maybe that's too good to be true for the Braves. So I'm with you on this one. I'm gonna stay away from that one. Let's see what I have next. Colorado, Minnesota, over under of 9 for Marquez and Bundy. Bundy was actually pretty good his last time out. He's been very hit or miss. Marquez obviously hasn't been very good. A tiny bit better on the road than he has been at home. But, is that too good to be true as far as an over 9 in that one? I see that one, if we erase the number that's in front of us, and I would have, expected a 7-5 shootout as far as these two pitchers are concerned. But, is that going to be a fade the public over on that one, and this one stays 4-2 or something like that?
I think spot on, great eyes there. I mean, the Minnesota team was just putting up touchdowns against Cleveland, but Cleveland was putting up touchdowns too. Marquez, as Scott Webb would say, has just been brutally awful.
Yeah.
Dylan Bundy one day, Al Bundy the next day. You don't know which Bundy you're going to get. That number, I think you're spot on. I think that game stays under the 9 or might even end 6-3. 5-4, something like that. But I would have rather seen a 9.5 or even a 10 here, and they're only giving you a 9. So
right, yeah, definitely. I'm not even going to touch that one. Interesting one here: Seattle and LA Angels. That is, this one's in Anaheim. Flexen and Lorenzen, over under of 9.5. Angels actually, I think it was about a week or so ago, took 3 out of 4, including the last 3 against Seattle last week in Seattle. Are you seeing whether or not tonight is the case? I'll save you on that. But are you seeing a bounce back series, a revenge series for Seattle here against the Angels after the beatdown last week, or do you think the Angels, who've kind of leveled out after their skids, are they going to roll in this one, or are you like the Mariners in some revenge action?
Angels 34-38, Seattle 32-39. Not a big Flexen fan, but Lorenzen been hit or miss. I think what catches my eye is an overnight over 8.5. And at Jazz and at Westgate and at William Hill, they've gone to 9.5. So I keep an eye on that over. I don't have a weather report if the wind's blowing out there or something. Expecting some runs there. Um, I, it's a game that I would stay away. Again, I'm not a total guy, but if anything, I might lean over there.
Yeah, you're kind of, as far as picking a side there, you're playing with fire with both of those pitchers. So I'm gonna do the same there. Another, I got one more, and then we can fill in the cracks as far as my thoughts are concerned. Philly and San Diego, good pitching matchup. Nola versus Gore. Gore got both times by the Rockies, but blown up bad by the Rockies last two times out, home and away. I think it was for really his only two bad starts of the season. And the odds makers are giving the respect to Nola on the full game and the first five. First five minus 130, first five about minus 150 for the Phillies and Aaron Nola. Are you buying those odds movements, or is there is that kind of pulling the shade over us, or are you going lockstep with that right there?
I have to respect overnight minus 131, and they're telling you you're going to get the bad Gore there. We had Wheeler first five earlier this week, and Hoskins with a 2-out error, and they scored two, and we ended up losing that one. Wheeler sucked anyways. But
Yeah.
Nola minus 131, a Padre team that's 44-28, Phillies 37-34. So they're kind of gift wrapping you. They're making a stance. I mean, it's Friday night. I mean, people are going to say, you're going to give me the Padres plus 120 at home? I'll take it. But I think Vegas is telling you guys, hey, guys, you're going to get the bad Gore here. I might even – it's a flat 7. Do you have team totals in front of you?
I can get them really quick, but I did not have them in front of me. But yeah, flat 7. I mean, I think it's really Gore a little bit of regression, but I think Nola, as far as being dynamite, I think is really what tips me off the most here. Let me see if I can get the team totals real quick here.
I would guess it might be 3.5 juice, like minus 130 over for the Phillies. That would be what my gut says.
On FanDuel, we've got Phillies over 3.5 at minus 118. San Diego over 3 at minus 130.
So they're trying to be coy here. They're going to say, okay, you want to pay the tax, you can pay the tax. It's short enough where you can go in with the Phillies. Here's the problem, okay? Phillies have the advantage in the first five. There's no doubt in my mind here.
Yeah.
Padres have the advantage in the back end. We know about the Phillies' problems in the back end. So either if you're going to be up at 1 o'clock, chewing your fingernails and on your 48 scotch in the rocks, trying to get this one home, or you just go in, get the first five. But Vegas has made it pretty clear who they're staying with here.
Right, and I think this is one of my better plays that I like out of this one, because I mean you could even see some positive regression from Gore and still have the Phillies winning this one 4-1 or anything along those lines. So anything that I missed, I know there was one more good pitching matchup that I kind of skipped over. I know Manoah and Hauser for Toronto. Toronto about minus 145 or so. 90% of bets, 67% of money. That one's in Milwaukee. I don't know if the Dome will be open or closed in that one or not. I know you're obviously a big Manoah guy, as am I. So are you buying Manoah tonight, or do you like Hauser and the Brewers?
We had an opportunity with Verlander spitting the bit on Saturday for Manoah to take the lead in the MLB, and he pooped his pants against the Yankees. We had a first five minus the hook, and Yankees against Cy Talion. Anyone watching and listening, A, don't bet against the Yankees. B, don't bet against Cy Talion. I mean, I don't know what he's drinking or whatever, but I want to check his diet too, because the guy's been lights out. I'm going to tell you, this is the gambling Twitter play of the day, Manoah and the bounce back. But I will say this, guys. I give the edge to Manoah first five. I do expect the bounce back. If you don't want to pay the tax, lay the half run, hope that Toronto can get out there and score a few runs. It's an under over 8.5 juice over. Here's the problem, though. If you get to an even game or behind with Milwaukee, that back end of Williams, of Hader, is just nasty. And right. So I think if you want to get into Toronto, you can do it. I'm just going to tell you, it's what my eyes and ears are hearing. It's the public play of the day is Toronto.
Right, and I think the Brewers. they've still got their own problems to some degree. They've kind of gotten out of that funk that they were in for a couple of weeks there. Not saying they're scorching hot by any means, but they were in a little mini free for all of their own, and they've kind of dug themselves out of that one a little bit. But we already mentioned them. Speaking of teams that are free falling, as a smile runs across my face, the Cubs in St. Louis tonight. Kyle Hendricks, who we've talked about, been very hit or miss. I like finding certain spots where he's going to be either hit or miss, and I've had some success, but I do not have much of a gauge on him tonight against Palente, not sure how to pronounce that. But any thoughts in St. Louis for the Cards and Cubs?
Spot on, by the way. Hendricks, every fifth or sixth start gives you that 7-8 innings, 3 hits, no runs. And the other 5, he's given up 3, 4, 5. A Cubs team that is just, I went and backed the Cubs earlier this week. I got egg on my face. And then 2 Sundays ago, we had the Thompson kid, and he gave up 8 in an inning and 2/3 at the Bronx. Here I'm talking, don't go against Mark. And the next game, he was Cy Thompson, and I wasn't back on it. So St. Louis, I like their offense. Under over a 9 under minus 115. I don't have a problem if you want to go full game minus the run 1.5 here. I know I don't like to preach 24 guaranteed outs versus 27. But once you get past Hendricks, there's not much back there for the Cubs. Their fielding has been pretty horrendous. So my eyes are on St. Louis minus the 1.5 today.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Hendricks, there's other teams in the division that he has a lot more success against as well. And the Cardinals, it's kind of hit or miss against the Cardinals as well. So I think I'm with you on that one. No strong thoughts. Oakland, Kansas City minus 136. Greinke on the mound. Let's see, Washington, Texas. I typically stay away from Washington games for the most part. And then I think there's only a couple of other ones at the back half. Detroit, Arizona, Garcia and Merrill Kelly, and then Reds in San Francisco. Alex Cobb in the mound, laying about minus 211 for the Giants. Anything on any of those before we move on from the MLB?
The Dunning kind of catches my eyes. He got his boobs lit up last game. A Washington team that's hit or miss. I'm not an Espino kid. Maybe slight lean first 5 in Texas there, minus the hook. There was a game that you brought up I wanted to highlight. Let me find it now. Shoot. The Oakland, Kansas City. That's what I want to talk about. Yesterday, here you got I'm drawing a blank now. Give me Montas. Montas spinning a no-hitter.
Yeah.
MLB goes to it in the 8th, and he gives up a hit, which is classic. Coming off of a bad start, and everyone, we talk about fade Robbie Ray, but on gambling Twitter, the hands down, Oakland has won 8 games. They're like 8-30 at home this year. So as Scotty Webb says, if you just go against them every game at home, you're going to be cashing tickets. Right. And this is what pisses me off the most, Riley, is that people that take the favorites are gifted. The fact that Montas is pitching a no-hitter, they get to the 9th, they're up 1-0. Seattle scores 2 runs in the 9th. Thanks for playing.
Right.
And it's just such a kick in the nuts.
I know.
You're following this the whole time. And that's the problem if you're going with like an Oakland team. They don't score enough runs, so you're never out of it against them.
Right, and it's mostly kept me from even diving too far into these games unless someone like Montas is in there and you can find some edges. But Irvin hasn't been too bad, so I guess maybe he spins it tonight for the A's. And obviously, I think we've talked about not really being Greinke fans anymore by any means. His ARA is north of 5 these days. So over under 9.5, juiced under. So I'm staying out of this one. This is not in my Friday night plans.
But isn't that comical? 2 offenses that stink, but they're giving you 9.5s.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I as much as it intrigues me, this is not in my Friday night plans.
After 3-4-4 watch.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right.
And I'm just going to close out with this. Avalanche Lightning, Game 5 at Colorado tonight, 8:00 start. Overnight, 2 nights ago, Colorado minus 160 got pushed to 171 at Circa, now 175 at the Nugget. I talked till I was blue in the face. I asked so many colleagues, people in our lanes, Avs in 4, 5, 6, or 7, Lightning in 4, 5, 6, or 7, and 9 out of 10 said Avs in 6. And then when I told everyone, well, the favorite is Avs in 5 plus 375, they looked at me like a deer in the headlight. They're like, what the hell are you smoking?
Right.
And there were 2 overtime games. Those could have been anyone's games. So the record could be 2-2. It could be 3-1 Lightning. It's not. Now, what do I expect tonight? I expect the 2-time defending champ Stanley Cup team to give it their all in the first period. Hope to get out 1-0, 2-0. Hope Vasilevsky shuts them out and they somehow, some way get back there for Sunday in Game 6. Now, when I try to get into this game, it's under over a 6 juiced under minus 120. Lightning team total 2.5 and Colorado 3.5 juice under. They're telling you 3-2, like I had told Andrew 2 days ago. They're telling you 3-2 or 4-2. That's what they're telling you here. Well, I take it a step further. Now, you tell me, does this smell or not? Avs in regulation, minus 109.
That does smell. I think, I think we're gonna have I think it's gonna be a low scoring tight one in this one, Jeff. I'm not the hockey guy. I say it every time, but I would bet on, or I would, tip my interest as far as this being a 2-2 game going into overtime, and then I think it's going to be the Avs 3-2 in overtime if that's basically what you're putting down here. Because Vasilevsky, I expect to be hell bent on. Obviously, he should be hell bent. It's do or die. But I think he's going to be leading the charge as far as being a stone wall back there. So I think it should probably be like that both ways for the most part. And I'll go 2-2 heading into overtime in this one.
All right, just so we have this marked, because I can smell a bad number. And that's a bad number. I would have respected it minus 130 or 135.
Right.
So everyone that's watching and listening, that includes you, Riley. Okay? I'm pulling up the Circa app right now, and I'm going into regulation. Plus 351 for a draw. Okay? So if you don't, you can get the Lightning in regulation right now, plus 226. But why would you do it? Because you can get them plus 155 to win at any chance. It's almost like a soccer game. You want to get into the soccer game. The Avalanche now is to minus 110. Okay? 3-2 Avs in overtime. But everyone here, I want beer and pizza money. At $5, $10, $20. Plus 351 at Circa for a draw. And then when this goes to OT, I want everyone to retweet it at EC Sports Invest at Riley_Magnuson the one. I'm telling you right now, it's 3-2 OT. It is.
Yep. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. And you're going Avs for 3-2 and getting the OT winner? Yep. Yeah. Okay.
And then we get the cash plus 330, which we've already hedged. We have both sides of plus 330, but we would cash the exactor at plus 375, Avs in 5.
What'd you say it was about plus 350? And that was on Circa over there?
Plus 351 for a draw.
Okay. 320. Do your line shopping. I don't know if we say that enough as far as these types of market is concerned, because I see 320 on FanDuel. So I'm going to take my interest somewhere else as far as that is concerned. So do your line shopping. I love it.
All right, guys. I can't thank everyone enough for listening today. The schedule is unclear right now. I'm not expecting to do a closing bell. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can reach out to me at EC Sports Invest. You can reach out to Riley at Riley_Magnuson the one. Ask away any questions about any games you guys are looking. For the weekend, again, up in the air. I might come on solo if I have to, just to get everyone set up for tomorrow. Riley, you available on Sunday?
I'm available. Yeah, I'm 100% available this weekend. So.
I might pull you up on Saturday too.
Hey, I'm ready. I'll be ready.
Okay. So everyone wagering today, please remember it's Fade the Public Friday. It's contrarian. It's don't forget the public and the DJs got paid today, and it's favorites and overs, favorites and overs. And again, don't be that one that leaves the pizza on the oven. You're going to try to double your paycheck, and you're losing all the early games, and then you got the West Coast games, and then you get the phone call or the text at 11:30, like, "Where are you? I've been waiting for dinner." And you come home with the head down. You don't know how you're going to keep the lights on and all that happy horse shit. Don't be that
Yep.
guy.
No.
So listen, please, please, please wager and invest responsibly. If you do have a problem, pick up the phone. There is an 800 number. Ask for help. Why? We care. Myself and Riley care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one, the only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a happy weekend, a blessed day. And I have this 1 second. And shout out to my buddy, Billy Hewlin. Great show, he says. Thank you, Billy. Love you. Give Rebecca a big hug for us. #Roll Tide. And we'll see everyone soon.